Today we're going to show you how to make Mountain Man breakfast. Mountain Man breakfast, where bacon, bacon, bacon becomes a reality. You need like a pound of bacon, 2 pounds of mild country sausage, 1 red pepper, 1 sweet onion. If you have anybody allergic to onions, you can leave the onions out. If we leave the onions out of a recipe, we use a green pepper. So it's good to go, and that's what we call Mountain Boy. You need 1 30-ounce bag of shredded hash brown potatoes. You need 15 eggs. Make sure you get grade A, because, you know, never even seen grade B. Then you need about half a pound of some kind of a cheese blend. We do like 4 batches at a time of this stuff, so we get a 2-pound bag. To brown the sausage, you can cut open the bags with scissors and then just drop the whole thing in there. I feel like you can do 2 pounds at once in a large pot. I don't know how large this pot is, 2-ish gallons probably. And then just grab a metal spatula, chop it up. You don't really have to put any kind of fat or grease in there because there's so much fat in the pork that it'll make its own fat to fry in. I started off kind of hot just to get it started, and then I will turn it down a bit until it's more like medium high. And then as you go, kind of scrape the brown bits up off the bottom so they don't burn. And you kind of turn it over, chop it up, stir it. Whoops. You want to brown meat like this fairly hot so that you actually brown it and you don't just steam it. There's a good bit of water that has to evaporate before it can really start to brown, before the fat can start to render. And so it's important not to put too much in the pan where it just starts to steam. I think 2 pounds is the most that I like to do. If you do more than 2 pounds, it can't really brown very well, and it just doesn't taste the same. When we do 4 batches of Mountain Man, that's 8 pounds of sausage. But yeah, I cook it 2 pounds at a time. That helps you keep it separated too. So you can cook it 2 pounds, you put it in a bowl. With 2 more pounds, you put it in a different bowl. Each bowl ends up being 1 recipe for Mountain Man for 1 Dutch oven. As it gets closer to being done, some of the stuff will start to stick to the bottom of the pan. When you cook the next batch of sausage, that kind of comes up, during a certain phase of the cook when the water's kind of boiling off. But there's a lot of little brown bits in there now. It's getting, pretty well done. I'd say it's pretty well fully cooked at this point. I'm going to let it brown just a little bit more. Now it's pretty much done. Kind of golden brown on the bottom. Scrape up as much of those bits as you can. that's kind of what it looks like, this golden brown bit. I'll go ahead and turn down the burner for a second. Now we're going to take all this, we're not going to drain it. We're just going to put it right into a bowl. Next, we have to fry the bacon. You can do it in the oven, laying out all the strips on a baking tray, cooking it at about 400 degrees, 425 degrees for around about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But maybe the easiest way to do it is just to take some scissors and cut off bite-sized chunks of it into your pan and fry it like that. You just kind of stir it the whole time to separate out the different pieces, and they end up frying in the fat. So we're doing 1 pound of bacon at a time, 1 pound of bacon per recipe of Mountain Man. Ever so often you have to do the same thing as you did with the sausage, just kind of scrape it up, turn it over. Spread it out, just kind of break up the chunks. And just even it back out into a layer. And then let it cook for a few minutes. Time to stir it again. It's looking pretty close now. So I've got slotted spoon and a colander, and we're going to scoop out the bacon into the colander so that it can drain a little bit. We don't want too much grease in the Mountain Man. If you put all the bacon grease into the Mountain Man, it does taste kind of greasy. We tried it once. I'm going to turn down the heat here, start scooping it out. Now you have to make sure that the bacon is untainted, not poisoned and everything. Yep. Now that there's not a ton of grease that comes off it when you scoop it out with a slotted spoon, so now that it's pretty much had a chance to drip a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and put the bacon right into the sausage bowl. In fact, you could probably just scoop the bacon directly into the sausage bowl if you use a slotted spoon like that and let the grease drip out first, because there's not a lot of grease left. And then we will pour off some of this bacon grease to reserve it. We'll leave some in there for frying our veggies, which is next. So remember, if you've got anybody allergic to onions, the green pepper is for your Mountain Boy recipe that doesn't include onions. Cut up the green pepper first so that it doesn't get contaminated with onion juice. You kind of just push the end in to get the part out with the seeds. You can kind of shake the seeds out into the trash can. Maybe rip it in half. Sometimes it has a lot of this white stuff in there. You can kind of rip some of that white stuff out if you want. Then turn it upside down and cut it into slices. About a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch in width. Then turn the slices around and cut them up into chunks. Now we're ready to take the peppers and saute them with a little bit of bacon grease. You just want them to saute until they get lightly browned on the edges, and so they lose a little bit of their crispiness. Time to stir. Starting to get a little bit burny, so I left the temperature on high for too long, but that's not a bad flavor. That kind of charred, flavor is a good flavor for the peppers. So it's not a big deal if they get a little bit burny. Wouldn't worry about it. But these are pretty well done at this point, so we're going to scoop them out. I'm going to go ahead and these are the green ones. I'm not going to put them directly into the meat bowl. We're going to go ahead and pull these off into a separate bowl. We're not doing onions with the Mountain Boy recipe. There's still enough bacon grease in there. So now, ready to turn it back up. and put in the red peppers. While the red peppers are cooking, we're going to chop up the sweet onion. For an onion, you can kind of, there's a few ways to do it. I like to cut off the top and the bottom, then cut it in half, and then peel off the outer layer, get that brown stuff off. And then what you want to do is cut almost all the way through, but not quite all the way through. That helps it hold together better when you go to cut it the other way. Oops. So now the onion's ready to saute. Time to stir the peppers. Okay, these are looking pretty well done at this point, so we're going to scoop them out, let them drain, turn the stove down. We're going to put them right into the meat. There's still enough bacon grease in there, so we are going to turn the heat back up and add in the onions. That's looking good for the onions, so we're going to go ahead and start scooping them out. So now we're done with all the pre-cooking. The reason that we pre-cook the meat and the veggies is just because it takes quite a while to do it, and you don't want to have to wake up at 4 in the morning to get all this started. So do this at home, spread out the work. Somebody cooks the veggies, somebody cooks the meat, bring it all in plastic bags, refrigerated, and we'll show you what to do next. Now that this batch of Mountain Man meat and veggies has cooled down, it's time to put it in the Ziploc bag. This is a 1 gallon Ziploc, and just got to get it all in here. It's kind of hard with one person. It's easier with a helper. There we go. And it's ready to go in the fridge and then take to the camp out. After you're done, you know, cooking the meat and sauteing the veggies, you end up with, you know, this burnt stuff at the bottom of the pan. I'm sure there's a lot of ways to get it off. A pretty good way to get it off is while it's still hot. Put some quite a bit of dish soap in there, and then some hot water to spray that down. Once it gets hot enough or cold enough where you can bear to touch it, kind of, you know, agitate it with a stiff scrubber. This chain mail stainless steel scrubber works pretty good. Don't do this to your non-stick pans. So that, you know, that's pretty much got most of it off of there. A little more soap. That's about got it all. Now, if you really want to get it clean, you can get some Bone of Me or Barkeeper's Friend, and that'll get the rest of the stuff off in a hurry. If you spilled anything on the bottom of the pan, it got burnt on, that'll get it off too. Ta-da! Now, we also like to crack and scramble the eggs before we go out there. It makes it real easy to pour the eggs over the hash browns. The recipe calls for a quarter cup of water to be added when you scramble the eggs, and it's probably not strictly critical to do that. Each recipe, each batch of Mountain Man requires about 15 eggs, and it's a good idea to crack eggs on a flat surface. It makes it just easier to pull them apart. Walmart sells a 60-pack box of eggs. That's the cheapest way to get a bunch of eggs. But we have 60 people going to this camp out, so we're actually doing 5 recipes, so we needed another 18-pack of eggs. So there's 15 eggs. Get yourself a whisk. It's nice to do this in a really big bowl. That is good enough right there. Now, if you put this in a Ziploc bag, it always leaks a little bit. If you put that Ziploc bag inside of another Ziploc bag, it'll probably be okay to where it won't like really leak out. But if just to keep it upright, make sure that it stands upright. There we go. That's 15 scrambled eggs. Make sure to keep these cold. So we're gonna need some charcoal. Get it started in a chimney. There's a bunch of ways to do it. If you have a bunch of coals, you can kind of start from below just by putting it on top of a pile of coals. Or you can use lighter fluid, which is what we do, so we didn't really have a whole lot of coals left over from last night. But we kind of need 2 chimneys to do 4 or 5 different pots of Mountain Man. Takes about 20 to 30 minutes for the charcoal chimneys to burn down enough to have the coals be ready. A 12-inch Dutch oven. You want the kind with the legs so it can stand over the coals you'll put under it. 12 is good for 1 recipe of Mountain Man. The 14-inch we can fit 2 recipes in. It's a little bit over full and maybe takes a little longer to cook like that, but it fits. It's a good idea to try to preheat the Dutch ovens a little bit. Usually we use like a shovel full of coals from last night's fire. Last night we didn't keep the fire going enough to really have any coals to speak of, so we got the fire restarted so we can start building some more coals, but we're just stacked the Dutch ovens around the fire just to kind of get them going a little bit. We can rotate them. So the 12-inch Dutch oven, I think is 6 quarts. The 12-inch needs 8 coals below it and 16 coals above it. The 14-inch, which is actually 10 quarts, that one needs basically double, because we're gonna put a double recipe in, so we just double the amount of coals, so it's 16 under and 32 on top. These are getting pretty close to being ready to put on. So here we go. Okay, so there's 16 coals for the 14-inch oven. Go ahead and put it on top. Good. Okay, we need to put, now open the lid. Guys, Trailman, we need two recipes in this one. Go, come on. 2 recipes. All right, Liam, start stacking stacks of 8 coals, like maybe around there. 1, 2. We need two over there.
Groups of 8.
Yep. That lid somewhere, like on the picnic table. We're not going to need it for a minute.
Don't get burned. You get burned.
Okay, so first you put in the meat. Get all that stuff in there.
I think I got meat.
Shake it out. Okay, if you get it pretty well out, then that's good enough. One more bag.
Meat?
So we do a double recipe in the big one.
That meat?
Dump it in.
It's
Squeeze it out, quick. Put it down a little lower. Hey, Parker, put it down a little lower.
it's burning my face. Get it.
Come on.
I cannot be close to fire.
So we don't want to melt plastic onto the stuff, but you can use the bag to kind of smush it around. Get that meat down in there. Next we need 2 bags of, for this double recipe, we need 2 bags of hash browns and then 2 bags of eggs. Bring them over, let's go. Put the hash browns in, the big one. Need 2 bags. Come on, Jackson. Get that chunk kind of broken up. Go ahead and put it in. Get it even. You need to make it even. Don't do that. You're gonna push the meat out to the side. You gotta grab it and crush it.
That was better.
And then we're gonna spread it around. Drizzle 2 bags of eggs for a double recipe. The inner bag should be able to be totally removed from there, or you can just kind of unzip it and drizzle it like that. Okay, we need a bag of meat in this one. Drizzle. Make sure you hit all of the hash browns. Jackson, you got to hit all the hash browns. So he went pretty. Okay, drizzle it all over the hash browns. You can drizzle a little bit faster than that, but were your eyes even open?
I don't know.
I don't think they were open. Over here.
Leah, do you capture it?
Okay, now we got to put the lid on. Who's got the lid?
Parker.
Okay, we're putting one bag of meat into each of the 12-inch. Squish it down. Just don't put the plastic on the metal, because you don't want to melt the plastic. But kind of make an even layer. We need hash browns now. One bag of hash browns. Okay, good job. Put 1 bag of hash browns on. The hash browns have a tear thing at the top. That's the bottom. Okay. We gotta get them into an even layer. If you gotta have to open it bigger. Careful, don't get it on the ground. Okay, for the chunks, put this over it and then crush the chunks with your hand. Don't push down the meat because it'll smush the meat out to the side. We want to kind of keep the meat in an even layer. Once you get the chunks crushed up, then just spread it evenly across. Okay, go ahead and make it even. Hash browns. So now we need, on the single recipe, the 12-inch, we need 16 coals on top. So you can count those, go ahead. On the big one, we need 32. Spread them out so they're fairly even. We have on the 12-inch ovens, so we have 8 below and 16 above, and then on the 14-inch ovens we have 16 below and 32 above. That is probably not exactly 32, but some of them are kind of halfway burned down, so we added some extra. Now we're going to let it cook for about 30 minutes before we open the lid up and then kind of stir the pot. Going to go ahead and light replacement charcoal, especially since we didn't have these preheated as much as we would necessarily like. If it's warm out and you preheat the pots, then you don't necessarily need to replace the coals, but if it's cold out at all, you're going to need to replace the coals, so it's good to get ready. So we're about to light these up in a few minutes. So now it's been almost 30 minutes. We put 8 new coals underneath, and we moved, don't step on them, and we moved the pot over top of the brand new coals to refresh the coals on the bottom. Now that it's been about 30 minutes, we're going to lift this off. You got to be real careful to lift it evenly, not to spill the stuff in there. This is the big one. Go ahead and stir it. Get down in there and turn it over. You want to kind of try to turn it in sections. There you go. Just turn all the sections. Turn it, don't just sweep it. You gotta get under there, pick it up in sections, flip it over. Kind of right in the middle. I don't know if you got it right in the middle yet or not. Okay, now spread it back out, smooth it back out. Okay, now we're gonna put this back on. All right, so now it's been another 15, plus minutes. So we're at 45 minutes plus of cooking time. That's looking good. Okay, yeah, just kind of stir it in sections. Try to scrape it right off the bottom. Lift it, yeah, scrape it off the bottom and turn it. Yep. So that's looking like almost done, basically. That's good because we're at the time. Excellent. So now just kind of even it back out. Yeah, we are probably ready for cheese. So we'll come back with cheese and after we stir the other ones. All right, so now we're going to check the smaller ones. The smaller ones, for whatever reason, were cooking slower today. There's still some liquid in the side there. Looks like bacon grease, so it actually looks like it's pretty well cooked too. Good. Try and get all the way to the bottom and turn, because the stuff at the bottom starts to burn a little bit. Just gonna turn that up. Looking great. Okay. Even it out. Prepare for cheese. So now that it's cooked, we're gonna sprinkle a fair amount of cheese. So technically, we need about half a pound of cheese per recipe. This is a double recipe, so we're gonna do a pound of cheese plus, and just kind of spread it out evenly. And then we'll cover it back up for a few minutes. Then we'll keep going. So we are ready to serve now. The cheese is theoretically melted.
Yeah.
Does that look good?
Yes, it does.
So cheesy.
Which one do you want? This one? How's that?
This one has no onions. This is the Mountain Boy. There's green peppers in the Mountain Boy, and then the Mountain Man has red peppers.